Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Studs. I'm your host Mark, and today we're talking to Jonathan specifically about Lego Technic, which is a subject that we really don't cover often enough here on Atlanta TV.
Right.
We usually talk about system stuff, old 90s stuff, Castle,
Right.
Lord of the Rings, whatever we're talking about,
Right.
but I think Technic is one of those themes that is a little underappreciated.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it really is.
So Jonathan, how did you get started building Technic? Is it something you've done your whole life, or is it something you've done as an adult?
I got into it when I was when they first started the whole Technic phase and stuff like that. I went from the regular Lego bricks, and I started buying the little small sets, and I started buying the big sets of Technic, and it just grew from there. And I think I was probably in teenage years, whatever, early teenage years, and it just grew from there. And I just kept on, and they started changing the Technic from the regular system brick style to this right here. It
More
really
smooth,
yeah, it really exploded. That you can do more, had more opportunities to build different things and all different styles and stuff like that, as you can see.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it took a lot of years to get to this point to even build this type of stuff. It's not something you just jump into like, hey, I'm going to build that. That's not possible.
That makes sense. Yeah, so, if you start young and you collect your pieces as you go, then you're going to have a big collection like this, be able to accomplish things like this.
Yeah, like I said, me personally, I love old cars or whatever, and like I said, that's one thing I wish Lego Technic would, start to build more stuff like that, for viewers that loves Lego, just loves Hotrods,
the classics.
Yeah, for the classic stuff. Right.
Yeah, Lego Technic covers a pretty good amount of stuff, but I think they tend to focus on the new.
Yeah, it's all supercars. It's nothing old. It's like they got Lego supercars that actually turn into hot rods and stuff like that, but it's only one set that I know of that actually turns into a hot rod or whatever. But me, I love stuff like this. For us, if they're gonna build stuff like this for the older generation, hey, why not? You can make a good bit of money from it. So why not?
Exactly. I think Lego System is kind of leaning back to their roots a little bit with Castle in space, but Technic hasn't quite got to the nostalgic part of that yet. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, very cool. Well, so the reason we have Jonathan on today is because Jonathan is a pretty frequent customer here.
I love it here, man. I love it here. I come get all my bricks that and come in and find different things, or whatever. I love them. You never know what you're gonna find in a pickup brick brand. I love it.
Absolutely.
One of my favorite stores.
And every now and then he'll be asking for a specific element, and I've always kind of wondered, what is he getting all these red pieces for? But now I know, seeing this on the table here, so it kind of makes sense now. It's coming full circle. I love it. It's great.
Most definitely.
So we know that you're definitely a master of Technic building here, Jonathan, I would say. And then my next question is, do you use any normal system Lego pieces inside your MOCs to kind of add a little extra flair?
Certain pieces, I do. Like this truck here, or whatever, it has the dashboard is completely made out of system bricks.
Gotcha.
The back of this truck, where it says Ford, on the back here, is actually made out of system bricks. That's mainly it. Sometimes I use it for the brush guard on here, where the bumper is right here. It's made out of system bricks.
A few little details here and there.
The grill is made out of system bricks here.
Yes, the grill tiles.
The grill tiles and stuff. I have system bricks for the back, the bed of the truck, and everything. And just a little bit, not much, but I mostly try to move. Technic is interlockable, and it's very hard to break.
Yeah.
So, it's a little bit more heavier, and it takes a little bit more time. But once you get to learn to know your pieces and everything, it flows like water. It's just regular.
Yeah, it really is flowing well. The big boy here in the middle, for example, these wheel wells, hubcaps, they're actually really rounded, and I've never seen that kind of Technic style before, so that's really cool. I always saw it as very rigid and blocky, and you can get a few angles, but you've made it rounded and sculpted, so that's really special.
It comes from the flex axles or whatever. The flex axles are depending on how you use them, whatever. This is the first time in a long time I actually use it. It was pretty hard to really get those angles, but Lego Technic is actually coming out with some things or whatever that I've seen, new Technic bits that I've seen that I can actually make this a hard something like this or whatever it'll be, but it comes out pretty well. But you just have to take your time. Like on this truck here, it took me about a week just to design and get all the pieces. About 150 pieces. And just
the mud guard,
the mud guard, which is but after a while, then you look at different things or whatever. You just have to play around with it to get the arch right and everything. And as you can see, it comes out pretty good. Yeah,
it's refinement of the process. So you kind of keep working on it, keep tinkering with it until it turns out just right.
And then with Lego Technic, they bring out a lot of new pieces. So as new pieces come out, I can change and stuff like that. I can add.
You can improve it as they make more stuff.
Improve. Like this truck right here, I designed about 10 years ago. And if you see the first version of it, it kind of looks like that, but after they start adding more elements and stuff, I was like, man, now this is what I wanted right here. I revamped it probably about 2 years ago, and I just kept adding. And as you can see, I mean, this thing has a four-speed gearbox in it. It has independent and front rear suspension.
Yeah, the door opens. That's cool to me.
Yeah, all that opens up. Yeah, we got the this actually works too.
The gear shifter, yeah, that's awesome.
All the gear shifter, anything I put in my cars, they all work.
Yeah.
You know, anything that makes the motor run, like you put it in gear. You see the motor move.
That's cool. Yeah, you got the cylinders moving. That's awesome.
Yep. So I look at a lot of nostalgic stuff like that. This motor is a nostalgic motor right here. This is the
old school.
Supercharged, 3 carburetor.
Is it V6, V8 or?
It's a V8, V8 flathead. That's
there
a V8 flathead.
Yep.
Yeah. This one here has the a supercharged flathead right here.
Look at that hood come up. Yeah, that's awesome.
This is it has a dual hinge on it where you can flip these out. Then it's
awesome.
called dual hinge.
Yeah.
A dual purpose hinge. So if you want to do a display, and then when you lift it back up, it goes back down.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I came up with that. I was like, I was kind of impressed myself on that one.
That's
so
nice.
Yeah, it's a dual purpose hinge or whatever, so you can lock it down like that. Like that when on display, all the doors come open.
Like at a car show, yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, all this comes up. It's on the motorized. It's on the hydraulic hinge. Has the big shocks on it on that one.
That is great.
Yeah. And my son, I've been telling him about this for like about a year or two, because I was trying to build it last year, but there was certain stuff I was still missing. Yeah. And when I built it, and I showed him a couple of pictures, he was like, "It's big, it's real big." I was telling my son that I brought up here, my oldest son. Both of those are my son, my youngest and my oldest son. And I told him, I was like, pictures do not do it justice. You actually had to see this up close and personal to see how big it is. It's just huge. I mean, every day I look at it, I was like, man, it's a mind blower. It's just.
I've seen pictures of this because Chris sent me something. He was like, "Hey, we got to do a video on this." I'm like, I think so, but seeing it in person, this is really special.
Yes, I love this truck. It's one of my favorites. And he seemed like the kind of like the raw version. I was almost done. I had to add a couple more things. Like this wasn't on here. I changed the tailgate because it was just blank. Yeah, and I changed. It was a bumper was on here. I was like, it looked real bulky. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna customize. And I was looking at different pictures. I was like, how can I roll this bumper where it just smooths everything out custom? So I figured that out and looked at my elements that I have. I was like, okay, and I finally got it to where I needed it, where it covered up everything and smoothed it out. Dropped the tailgate, had a tailgate.
Yep.
Without having like the little. Usually I put these chains on here or whatever, but the chains. I was trying to figure out how I can incorporate the chains now, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it just like that.
Yeah.
It looks a whole lot better. It's a whole
cleaner.
lot cleaner. Yeah, a whole lot cleaner.
Yeah. Less distractions back there.
Right.
That is awesome.
Yep, this actually opened up. This actually has door locks. If you open it up like that, unlock the door.
Oh yeah, you got the door handles.
Unlock the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has the.
And so, which of these? So this one you said you've had for 10 years. Is that the first one that you started working on?
This actual right here. This was the when I first built my big Technic model. When I first started designing my own MOCs. Oh, this push out too. This is my push out vent window.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Push out vent window.
That's awesome.
When I first started, when I got my first Technic big set, I had bought the newest one at the time. It gave me enough pieces and stuff like that, newer pieces to design my truck or whatever, and it didn't have any fenders or anything, but it did have a motor and stuff like that, but it wasn't as refined as this one is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I revamped it about a couple of years ago, probably about 2 years ago. It had about 3 or 4 different versions, probably about 4 or 5 different versions. I had the first one I ever built was out of system bricks.
Oh, okay.
Started with the system bricks and added a little bit of Technic. That's when Technic was really trying to get started with when they started changing. I had about 4 or 5 different versions of that one, and then as time went on and they started bringing out more and more elements and stuff like that, I started changing a little bit more. Yeah. And when I bought this Lego Technic set, it was a red. It was
possibly a Ferrari set, maybe, or
not a Ferrari set. I can't think of the name of the set. But it was a supercar set. It was the first one of the supercars.
Gotcha. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it turned into a hot rod order. So I was like, okay, cool. And I had like a good bit of red pieces and stuff like that. So I was like, cool, I can get that. And I got different wheels, and I got the shocks and the little the A-arms and everything and stuff. And I actually started to put it together. And I designed my own chassis and everything like that. And once I got that done and whatever, was kind of like that was like my set profile. Once I built my chassis, I can build anything on that frame, from anything. Like I'm working on a hot rod right now. It's a 1927 Model T tub hot rod that I'm working on right now.
Nice.
So I didn't finish it. I was planning on bringing that one with me too, but I didn't get to finish it yet.
Yep, no worries.
I'm still working out the bugs with that one. But yeah, this one right here is one of my projects. So this is one of my own creativity here or whatever. Like I said, it took a long time.
Original.
Yeah. It took me a long time to get to that point to really build and put my own stamp on something that I built out of Legos and stuff like that.
That is really cool.
A lot of people in my club, they was like, man, they love it. They was like, man, I'm trying to get into it so I can make my own instructions and everything too.
Nice, yeah.
So I mean, people went crazy. I was like, I haven't even debuted this one yet.
Yeah.
So
this one's waiting for the public.
Yeah, it's waiting for the public. So I want to take it out and take some good pictures out in the openings for it. And once I debut it, they're gonna go crazy. I just hope my good friend LeSean Cameron or whatever. Like, a lot of people has built his truck, but nobody has built it this way.
Yeah, there you go.
Nobody has built it this way. So I want to blow his mind because this guy is, man, he's a mad genius when it comes down to Technic.
So since you've gone to this truck and you've revisited it so many times, that's pretty cool because as someone who builds MOCs as well, I don't really keep them that long. I tend to take them apart and build something completely different. So it's cool that you've really stuck with it and refined it to this point so it looks so amazing. So congratulations on that, Jonathan.
Right, yeah. But usually I do break them down or whatever and stuff like that because I like to build other things or whatever. So, but this one right here, I was like, man, if I ever broke this down, I mean, I don't broke it down and brought it back up, but I was like, this final version, I said, if I broke it down, I wouldn't be able to rebuild it. Yeah. I have pictures of it, but it's certain things and certain elements, the way I built it is kind of like, how did I do that? Or how did I do this? Yeah. So, that's one thing I was like, well, that one's going to always stay together. That's my pride and joy right there.
Yeah, don't want to lose it, right?
Oh, no. This one right here is the second one here. Like I said, it took me a while to get all the pieces to build this one. This is another one that's probably never going to come apart. Yep. But yeah, like I said, I'm probably going to end up getting this one back. I got some other plans for that one.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so, but...
Okay. So my next question for you is: so since you're building these big Technic models, you don't really collect the sets per se. You're mostly just use them for parts.
Yeah,
mostly.
I mean, I buy the sets and stuff like that, and I just get them for the parts. It's not something I like to build, and so I'm not into supercars and stuff. I just like the stuff that comes with it. Yeah. So I use the elements and all the parts and stuff. They have some nice parts in them, so that's what I go do when I actually go on Rebrick them and I look up the set and I actually see, okay, I can use that part for something, that part for something. So because I like this is the type of stuff that I like to build because there's not nothing out there on the market like this.
Yeah,
that's why. Yeah.
Lego hasn't really made that many classic looking cars. They did that one dark red truck, which was kind of nice.
I love that truck. That's one of my ones I definitely have to get or whatever. Yeah. Before it disappears and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's still on the market. It'll be there for a little while, hopefully. So.
Yeah, I want to get it before it disappears and stuff like that. So yeah.
You mentioned Rebrickable a couple times now, and that's something that you've talked to me about in the past to check out. And I actually was looking at it before we started filming the video. It's very interesting. For a lot of different sets, it gives you alternate build instructions that you can purchase and use.
That's why I always tell people, like I said, hey, when you buy those, like if you buy the Porsche, that turns into one of these type trucks too. It's a little smaller. Remember I told you about the green Lamborghini? Yep. They turned one of the guys in my group. He turned it into a Ford F-150, like the newer model. Yeah. It's a lot of stuff. Like I said, if you get on Rebrickable, or if you're in the groups that I am, whatever, you'll be surprised. You'll be see the first ones of like, man, you turned that into that. Like when I tell people that, it was like he turned that into a truck. Yeah,
that's baffling to think about.
That's awesome. I was like, it shocked me because when we actually seen it, and when the guy was actually talking about it, was like, that's gonna turn into a truck. And
it doesn't look like you could do anything but a Lamborghini.
Right, but like I said, when he got it and he actually put it on and he actually has instructions for it, man, you ought to see the different style models people have made of it. I mean, it's crazy. But I mean, everything from the Lamborghinis but that truck, man, that's crazy. That's awesome. I haven't seen somebody made a green DeLorean out of it.
That's cool. I'd like that one. I like all you gotta do
when you get on Rebrickable, you get on there and you put the
set number.
The set number in, and it tells you it'll come up all the stuff that people have made out of it on that site. You'd be like, oh my god, that made out of that. It's pretty wild, man. So that's one of my favorite things. I love Rebrickable. I found that about. I think I've been on Rebrickable probably about 2 years now, 2 or 3 years.
Couple years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years and everything. And I found out through the groups and stuff like that, I was like, Rebrickable. And I kept seeing it pop up in people's things. I was like, so I looked on there. I was like, okay, and I started putting this in them. It's like, wow. It opened my eyes to a whole lot of things. So I get on there. And I buy different sets. I even got my friend that's from overseas and stuff like that. He just put his on there, his hot rod that I'm building now. Nice. And he actually sent me the instructions first before he sent it to
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, so
he's hooking you up with the instructions.
Right. So we bounce ideas from each other, whatever. And I send him stuff, and he's in the hot rod too, man. The guy's a mad genius too, or whatever when it comes down to things. So that's how we clicked. He built a sedan. Yeah. Man, we started talking. I started showing him my truck, and he was like, man, so we just been clicking. We've been talking to each other for about a year and a half now, And so anytime he builds something, he was like, I want your opinion on something or whatever. I was like, okay, send me the pictures. So he sent me the pictures and everything, and we would be sitting there talking. And it was like, okay. He was like, so, because he was like, we bounce, like, when he makes interiors and stuff like that. I help him with his interiors. Different elements. It's like, how do you think this will look on there if I put this on there? And it's like, back and both of us back and forth like that. So it's good. It's good having a friend that you can bounce ideas off and
absolutely
get in the groups and people build. I mean, it's crazy. The groups that I'm in with the Technic, it's pretty wild.
That's really cool because it's like a lot of people who just kind of shop at the Lego store and they're looking at the sets. They won't even know that people even do stuff like this. So it's really cool to hear about that. And you mentioned a couple. You said like Facebook groups and Technic groups.
Yeah, Facebook. I'm in Lego Technic. I'm in it's about 5 or 6 different groups.
We can drop some links in the description after we're done with the video. Okay. But yeah, so that's just so that if people want to learn about these groups and maybe even join and see all the cool projects that people are working on, that'd be awesome.
You do have people that's in the groups that just build the actual cars that come in, from that's boxed or whatever. They add a little flair to it, and then some of them change the color and stuff like that. But other than that, I've never been really that. I've always been that out of the box person.
Yeah.
I get it. I might build it once, to see how everything works. And I was like, okay, I can maybe use that piece, and see how that works. So once I get that done, I break it back down and I start building me something else. I was like, what's the alternative I can build out of that?
Exactly. So, you're looking at the different uses for all those pieces, the raw material, right? So that's great.
Right. That's what I look for. Whatever. What else can I build outside of this box? That for my sake, or not my sake, but my actually
your own creative.
Yeah, my
purpose.
own creative.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because a lot of times, and there's nothing wrong with this, but people will buy the Lego sets just to collect the sets, and that's cool too because there's so many nice sets.
Right.
But when you actually are using the Lego bricks to make your own models, and Rebrickable is a great tool for that too.
Right. So and that's where the fun comes in at. When you can buy the sets or whatever and see what else can I build out of this set, or what can I use this piece for, or what can I use this piece for, instead of just I see people they build a set, they hang it on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, what fun is that?
That's kind of the end of the story.
Yeah,
then.
It's like okay, so you just gonna buy it, build it, hang it on the wall. No, that's never been me. I like to see the movements. I like to show people like, hey, this is what I do.
Refine it. Yeah, keep working on it. Yeah.
Like my granddad before he passed, he loved it. Anytime I used to build something, I go show him. He's like, oh my god. Now another thing about this truck. When I showed this to my grandmother, she was like, your granddad had a truck like that. I was like, really? So it became from just being it became just because how can I put this? From me designing it to saying that it went to something more sentimental value because my granddad drove something like this when he was younger. Yeah. So I was like, wow. I was like, really? She was like, yeah. So I kept redefining. I was like, really? She was like, yeah, your granddad used to come pick me up in this truck. I was like, really? And my granddad has always had a truck. Ever since I've been growing up and everything and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it was a very meaningful moment
that's
for
how
you to share
that's how I really got into the old trucks and stuff like that, and the old cars and everything, and being around my granddad and stuff like that. That's how we love older cars. And plus my older brother, he builds model cars and stuff like that, and he shows, and I shock him up with a lot of stuff. He was like, you built this out of Legos? I was like, yeah. So like my cousins, they all know I build Legos. So in the time they see something, just like when Lego Masters came out the first season, it was like, are you going on Lego Masters? I was like, what? Lego Masters?
Hey, maybe one day.
Yeah, so I was, right. I was like, man, if I get the perfect person, like, why not?
Yeah, so, you never know.
So yeah, that'd be great, And I used to work for the Lego company a couple of years ago, back in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s.
There you go.
And I was the go-to guy when somebody wanted to build a car or something like that. So everybody had their own elements that they like to build, and I was the guy that built the cars. So anytime somebody wanted to build a car or a truck trial or something like that, they were like, hey, go see this guy here.
Yeah.
And stuff like
Go
that.
talk to Jonathan. Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, that's how I got my reputation with that. And but I've always been an old school guy. I love old school cars. I mean, from the real cars to made out of Legos. Yeah. I mean, I've been commissioned to build people cars and stuff like that and everything too. So I mean, it's been a labor of love. I've been doing this for almost 30 years.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I
That's
love
awesome
it. I mean, the story of that, like my auntie, she bought me 2 buckets. They was made by Tyco. I don't know if you know about Tyco.
I remember Tyco.
Tyco had they only had 2 type of buckets. There was an army bucket and it was a construction bucket. And it started from there. My auntie, she's like, I never thought that when I bought you those Legos, it would turn and stuff like this. I was like, so And it's been a passion of mine. And then like I told her and my cousin, I was like, I'm gonna work for a Lego company one day, and I actually did.
Yep, there you go.
So
and now you just do your own thing because that's where the fun is, right?
Right. So yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, technically, it really doesn't get a whole lot of airtime and stuff like that. A lot of people don't really talk about it, like I said, unless you get into a group that loves Technic like I do.
Mm-hmm.
So
unless you go out and find it, you might not even know that this stuff was possible.
Right. So like I said, Rebrickable's been I've been on Lego websites for as long as
they've had them, right?
Yeah, right. So I mean, when I got into finding different websites and I seen what other people's, I was like, oh wow, let me see what kind of pieces I have. Maybe I can build some of that stuff, and then, and it started from there. It's still a couple of old sites out there, but mostly I would get on Rebrickable because they show you what you need to build that car or that truck or whatever you're trying to build. They have everything from cars to buildings to minifigures, whatever your mind can think of is on there. Yeah. Somebody has either built it or tried to build it.
That is cool, man. So, yeah. I appreciate you sharing that with me because I didn't really know about that whole side of this portion of the Lego community.
Yes, really cool. Man, you'd be surprised. You get on there, man, you'll be on there for hours like, man, I didn't know they had to do that. Like, a lot of people, they take the building elements.
The classic brick box, or?
No, not the classic build, the architecture buildings and stuff like that. Yeah. They take those and they turn those into different, I know there's a guy that built the whole city out of those things.
Oh, the modulars, man.
Yeah, the modulars, There's a lot of stuff you can do with those modulars. And people build all kind of stuff, like some of the stuff that y'all have in the store. Mm-hmm. And I was on there one day, and they always send stuff to my email, new people that you follow, they put them on stuff on there.
New updates, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, he built the whole. I was like, a garage, and man, it's a Technic garage this guy built for his Porsche. You know that the red and white Porsche that y'all have out there.
Yep.
And the guy actually built a trailer truck. It's probably about as long as this table, probably about that long. That fits that whole Porsche in the back of it, and he has a whole working shop.
Yeah.
That goes to that car. I was like, oh my god. I was like, it's a lot of panels in that, but. That's why I always look for the Technic panels. As you can see, when you learn to use the Technic panel, it eliminates a lot of the regular pieces these right here.
The spaces.
Yeah. So it smooths it out a whole lot. That way you have to use less pieces.
Yeah.
But like I said, building this truck right here, I think I built it within a week because I was working and doing this at the same time. I told myself, if I don't never get started, I'm never going to finish it.
Yep.
So I started it on a Tuesday and I finished it on Easter Sunday.
There you go.
Yeah, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my son, when I brought it to see him, he was like, because I told him, I was like, it's a pretty big truck, but I didn't know exactly how big it is. He was like,
pretty good size. Yeah. This is over a foot long and almost a foot wide.
Yeah, so it's pretty wide, man. It's just a lot of, and then this can be motorized too. It has gaps in it where you can hook the motors and stuff up to it. Mm-hmm. I have it, the motors to put in there or whatever. I just like to be manual for right now. And I might hook them up later, but I just like the display of it.
That's awesome. And so you talked about some of the pieces that you prefer to use. If somebody were to try and get started on Lego Technic, do you have any advice for them, like as far as sets to buy or things you want to look for, parts you want to collect, or even we mentioned Rebrickable and the Technic sites, but is there other things that you would suggest for people?
If you're gonna get started, if you're building cars like I do, get this the car sets. That's basically if you buy the supercars, or if you can't afford the big supercars, but you buy the medium sized ones where they have good elements in them too. That'll get you started. At least to get something, the A-arms and stuff like that, the motor pieces and stuff like that, and then as
stuff on the table.
Right. That way it can get you started. That way you can get used to it. That's what I'm trying to get my son into. I was like, I'm trying to get him used to it, into building. He builds the little Lego racers and stuff like that.
Like Speed Champions,
Right. And I told him, I was like, if you want to get to the point where I am or whatever, I said, it's going to take some time. It's not going to be overnight.
Yeah.
I said, you're going to have to start building the little Technic stuff. You got to start off small. But this right here, it had you scratching your head sometimes, especially when you're doing what I do, mock.
Yeah.
And when you doing different elements and stuff like that, and you try to fill in the gaps, or I want to put pedals in there, I want to do this, I want to do that, everything is in the geometry and the science to each thing that you do. Just like I said, the door handles on that right there, it has door handles. When you lock it,
exactly. Everything has a purpose and a meaning, and it's like you're prioritizing different items. And
because like I said, you start from the chassis up. Once you build your chassis, you put your your motor in, you start But like I said, it didn't come to me overnight. I had a lot of different people that I followed and stuff like that. There's another guy I've been following for years. It's called Crow Killers. This guy, man, he's been on TV. He's been on different things. He does stuff for charities and stuff like that. The guy, that's how I learned how to build motors and stuff like that, make them look real.
Yeah.
Because Lego really just makes just a block. They don't do all the elements and stuff. When you look under a hood of a car, you don't see open pistons or nothing like that. You want a finished motor.
Exactly. Like whole engine block, everything, all the elements.
Right. That's what I like. I like to finish everything out, and that's and with this truck here, when Leisha and Cameron Locks Lego made this truck, it's just a chrome block sitting there. There's no. So I was like, I said that's one thing I got to. So I figured out. I took that block out. I measured it and see how which one of my motors would fit. Then I had to figure out how to put it in there, then with the gears and all the stuff like that to make it work. Yeah. And once I figured that out, as you can see, it's in there.
It works just right. Right. That's awesome.
Right. So yeah, hooked up very good or whatever. So like I said, it's a science to everything I do. I love it. Like it always keeps my mind going. I can be at work and I was like, man, I can probably put that piece and that piece. I'll be sitting down, I'll get a pen and paper, I'll draw it out sometimes. Sometimes it come out good like I did on paper, sometimes it comes out better, like the hinges and stuff like that. Because when I did the hinges, I was like, the first way I did it didn't work that way. And I was like, The parts for the turning system, whatever, the little arms and stuff like that, I was like, I can hook that to that. And it came out to be a dual purpose hinge. It didn't just happen. It kind of happened like, I was like, okay.
As you're working on it, it ended up being better, right?
Right, it got better. So
that's awesome.
Pretty nice. I was like, yeah, like I said, if you look at his truck and look at mine, it's like night and day. A lot of the stuff that he did, I refined it. I, added to it and made it more real. Because I take real cars and actually look at what they look like or whatever. Customized, non-customized, original, stuff like that. I look at hot rods and stuff like that. Even on TV, I could be looking at something, one of my favorite shows and stuff like that. Texas Metal, Iron Resurrection, stuff like that. Anything about cars, hot rods, stuff like that, I'm always watching. So I look at that type of stuff and I incorporate it into my Legos. And people are like, how do you redefine it? I was like, because if you know your pieces, you can redefine it to make it look like that car. And it's like I actually have a truck that looks just like this on my phone. And it looks just like that. I looked at another truck that was just like this with the red and black scheme. I did it just like that.
Yeah, so you look at your source material, and once you get familiar with the pieces, you're able to execute it the way you want it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from. I look at something I have magazines, I have whole libraries of just like, I've been in the cars and everything. So I have multiple books. My mom's like, why do you keep all these magazines? Because you can use it in real life. Plus, I can look at different elements like,
for reference,
right? Reference and stuff like that. I was like, so that's how that's built. Look at the dashboard. And like Lego has so many intricate pieces. It's like you can take it and you can, once you can learn how to use the piece. That's the first thing I want to tell people. Learning your pieces is the main key to building these type of models or anything when you build Lego. Yeah. The more you learn your pieces, the better off you'll be able to. That way you can do different things as this. So.
Yeah, great.
That was my first thing of learning how to use the pieces out of Lego or whatever. That's the main key to learning how to do what I do.
Yeah, I also liked how you mentioned that it really takes time.
Yes.
Because you said you've been doing this for going on 30 years.
Yes, yeah. I started when I was a kid and stuff like that, and as time went on and stuff like that, this is my hobby. What people I play video games. No, I'm not a video game person. Yep. I mean, I play video games when I grew up or whatever, but this right here is my video game right here.
Yeah, this is your free time, your hobby.
This is this right here keeps my mind going. It's like, if you know how to do math, this definitely. There's a lot to do with math. Because you be like, you sitting there counting the pieces, like, I wonder how, those oddball, you always get, have little oddball pieces, and you be like, can I put a 3? Does Lego even make a 3?
Exactly.
1 by 3 or something?
Especially when you come to the Technic pins, you're factoring in how many it needs to be versus this, and structurally.
Yep. Color-wise, everything, that all plays a factor or whatever, But like I said, learning how to use the pieces and what they're used for and how many different ways you can use the pieces and stuff like that. Because I have used some of these pieces in ways people's like, I didn't know you could use that piece at that.
Yep.
But even with the modular sets and stuff like that, they have pieces like, system pieces that you can use, like the wood panels and stuff like that. I need to get some more of those as I speak. Yeah. To put the wood in my bed here or whatever and stuff like that. You just looking at different sets. Like I have magazines from back when they first started the Lego magazine and stuff like that. And and I go and I let my son look through them. He was like, they had stuff like this. I was like, yeah, they just want to elaborate like it is now. But I said when I first started out with Technic, you had basic pieces and stuff like that. And you got to use. I mean, it takes a while to learn those pieces. Yeah. But when they started making these type of pieces, man, it just exploded in my mind. I was like, okay, I can go.
The door was open. The floodgates were
opened up, and I was like, man, it's just my models got more and more creative as they started bringing out more pieces. I was like, this is perfect.
That's awesome.
That's what they made this like these pieces right here.
Yeah, those edges on the front, right?
Yes, these right here. When they made this, I was like, that was perfect. Because if you look at the top of a hot rod pickup, it's made just like that.
It's got that little sunscreen right there.
That pinch, So I was like, even on this one right here with the Mustang and everything, they have that certain elements creates the car and it smooths out the car. He's like, man, I've been trying to get that piece for the longest. I was hoping that they made a piece, but they have so many new pieces coming out. Mm-hmm. And every time they come out with something new, I was like, okay. I start looking them up. I was like, oh, I gotta use that piece for it. How did that connect to this piece here? Mm-hmm. So, like I was telling you about last week about the hypercar.
Yep.
It comes out May 1st or whatever, and I see some elements in there, and I was like, yeah.
You're already excited about it. Yeah, so that's great.
I already got a truck in mind, and I've been trying to build. I was like, because the way the fender shape, and it has that roundness, and it hooks to these pieces. These right here, mm-hmm. like if you stand them on end, it has the way that piece curves. Mm-hmm. It curves like you can stand it up, and it curves just like that. Not the way that the fender is on that truck that I'm building. I was like, they finally perfect. Somebody's thinking in Lego. They thinking like me in Lego. So
you're starting to make some new pieces.
Yeah. So the pieces that they making, I was like, man, I can definitely use it. And the car is, I think it's like a dark gray. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I can do a little dark gray on the top with a black bottom and stuff like that. Yes,
you already got the color pattern.
Yeah, the color pattern and stuff like that. Because I know certain elements don't come in. They only come in certain colors. So I was like, okay, you had to collect the pieces and I'll make it work.
That's awesome, Jonathan.
But yeah, I'm in clubs where they take and they spray paint the Legos in different colors and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Man, it's crazy.
That's very far into customizing.
Yeah, I'm not into the whole spray paint thing. Some of them, if it's a piece I got multiple pieces of, I might do that, add to it until I get the pieces I need.
Yeah, but black and red, they make most of those. Most colors.
Yeah, that's what. Like I had a bag full of black, but the truck, like this truck here, is all black. I wanted to bring more light to this truck. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to just be a straight black truck.
Yeah, it's a little harder to see it in that Lego.
You see all the elements and so high, and the curves and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna see how much red I have. Mm-hmm. I had a good bit of red and stuff like that, so it was enough to do what I need to do. Yeah. So plus coming up here collecting what I need, just I can just pick up a couple of pieces here and there.
Very cool. Yep. So this is an amazing collection, Jonathan. We'll be sure to get lots of close-up footage of all the different elements and angles of these trucks here. Mm-hmm. And looking forward to the next one that you're working on.
Most definitely.
Maybe have to do a part 2 and update on that one.
Man. Anytime y'all need me, just let me know, man. I'm always building something. And this was my big build for the first part of the year and everything. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be many more to come.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually got another truck that I want to build. It's actually made out of Lego system bricks. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it's a Ford F100. Mm-hmm. So I was like, so that'll be another episode for system bricks. Yeah, like people that like system bricks.
A Technic builder getting into system.
Right, right. I'm trying to get back into using the system bricks, but the car that I'm building right now actually has a system brick chassis. Okay. With the regular Technic on top.
That's the opposite of what it usually is.
So look, combining the new with the old. Yeah. So it's very interesting with that. Yeah.
Well, if you got the time, we might have to do a part 2 down the road in a few months when you get that.
Most definitely. I'll be probably done and hopefully by the end of this week.
Gotcha.
With that one or whatever. Yeah, I'm doing a little extra stuff to it and everything.
So you get these turned around pretty fast.
Then. Yeah. I try to whatever. Yeah. It really don't take me that long. Most people tell me they took 2 or 3 months to build it. No. Now this one, like me designing one, I had to up one myself with it. Now it took me a whole month or 2 to redesign this truck because I want to take my time because I want to put fenders on the truck and everything. And the first fenders I ever built was kind of like blocky. It was made out of these elements here. Mm-hmm. So I was like, did I seen something on, I forgot what Lego site I was on. I seen a guy build like the pattern like this. I was like, maybe I can build the... And when I found out, I was like, let me see how many pieces it would take. And I started playing with it. Mm-hmm. It took me about a week to build it.
There you go.
Just working on the fenders. It was like, it took you that long to build? I said, man, when you're designing something, I know people that take 2 or 3 years to design one of these. Mm-hmm. But me, it takes me about the longest was about a month. Yeah. And then because, taking time, getting elements and stuff like that, and stuff like that, more panels. And as time went on and trying to see what motor would fit in there, how does work, different gearboxes and stuff like that, different gears that go into the gearbox to make it's a lot. Yeah. When you're building something this big.
A lot of details.
Yes. That's the devil's in the details, as I tell people, whatever. Because when you look, like when you go to these shows, that's what they look for. Mm-hmm. Like how detailed did he really get into that to really show? Yeah,
real car shows. Yeah, that's what they judge all the entries on. Yeah.
Right. And that's what I'd be looking for. Mm-hmm. Like this right here, it took me a while to even get this vent piece. I've been trying to figure this out for the longest. And I was like, when they came out with the double piece, right, when it has double hope, I was like, that's perfect. Mm-hmm. So I found the right one and I designed that part there. That took me about a day or 2 to figure that out.
There you go.
But other than that, everything's been good. I love this truck, man. It was like once I got done, I was like, wow. I was really blown away.
It looks fantastic.
Yes,
Johnson.
it's just,
awesome.
from my design and stuff like that, I changed a lot of elements on it with it to make it look more really and more sturdy. Filling a lot of gaps and everything and stuff like that. But it was, like I said, it was well worth it. It was a very fun build.
Yes, it looks like it was an amazing project.
Yeah. The hardest part of this build, the chassis starting off with the chassis, and then these parts right here, this part right here, because you had to get the geometry, the fenders. But other than that, after you get all that done, smooth sailing after that. When you start, like, once I got it all built, I started customizing it. I was like, how can I start looking at more and more trucks? I was like, how can I make it my own? I want to, tuck in the bumpers and stuff like that and everything and stuff. Like, I rolled the back bumper here. I got the Ford built in right there. This element right here came from another build I had made. It was a Ford F100. It was like a 70s model. And I just kept the tailgate. And I was like, you know what? I'm keeping that tailgate. And I'm trying to incorporate into this, one of my trucks. I wanted to put it in there, but it was too wide to put in this truck. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? Looking at multiple pictures of this truck here, and I was like, people was doing it. It was like stickers, but nothing was built into the bed. It was just stickers, or they just have something, just says Ford on the back. I was like, no, I want to actually incorporate what's built in to the truck, where where it doesn't come off. It's not stickers. I hate stickers. Yeah. I use them every now and then on certain stuff.
Stickers aren't the best for.
Yeah. I hate a whole lot of stickers and stuff like that. I like to be able to see what I'm looking at. When you actually look at my car, it's like, okay, that's how he built that, or this how they. I feel like stickers covers up the masterpiece. It's hiding a lot of stuff. Yep. I want people to know, okay, this is how I did it.
Absolutely. Yeah. But I think that covers pretty much all we had on the list today. Okay. But yeah, this has been fantastic, Jonathan. Thank you so much for bringing these trucks
up. Definitely. I'm glad y'all brought me on. When I asked, I was like, man, give me a chance to talk about one of my passions and stuff like that. Like I said, I love this store. And ever since I found it, man, I come up here on the regular office. I was like, man, I might need to go get those pieces and just. I try to keep a stockpile of pieces that I use all the time, and y'all always help me out with that. And plus, the pick and break is always plentiful.
Yeah, it works most of the time. Yeah.
Yes. Most of the time. I always find stuff that I'm looking for. I was like, man, I didn't know that was in there. Like, I found some expensive pieces in there. Yep. And it was like, man, trying to order them. I was,
yeah. It's cheaper than Bricklink, that's for sure. Yeah.
Most definitely. I hate ordering stuff, and I was like, if I'm gonna spend some money, I might come up here and I can find what I need. And 9 times out of 10, y'all do have what I need. So
there we go. Yeah. Yep. Well, thank you for taking some time out today, and thank you all for watching this video and seeing some of Jonathan's amazing work.
No problem.
We'll get some links in the description of some of the sites that we're talking about, and maybe where you can see some of his pictures posted. Yeah. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.
All right. And I'm also working on the Instagram. So yeah.
What's your Instagram handle?
I've got to put one up for right now. I got an Instagram page, but it's not for Legos right now. But it's coming soon. So
once we get Jonathan's Instagram handle for Lego, we'll put that up.
Right, it'll be up soon. It'll be definitely up soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Jonathan.
All right, no problem.